Hey, welcome to Michigan Insurgency. So this show is all... Today we're going to talk about the history and the ways of Adolf Whitmer. Okay, so we're...
I don't know anything about that. But okay.
All right. About her rise to power and how she took the Jews and put them in camps. Adolf Whitmer.
I'm so lost right
If you want to find her on the internet, you'll have to Google search Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Tony.
That's her pseudonym. She's
She's a terrible person.
she's actually a card-carrying Nazi.
Have you seen the way she looks? She's like literally a lizard person in human skin.
I'll tell you what.
This is going on the internet.
That's fine.
I just wanted to let you know that.
Outside of...
A lot of criticize and make
hang on,
fun
have
of
you saw the video? I know you guys all saw the video of Zuckerberg drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
Creepy.
Have you seen the Australian guy? Like, he breaks down videos, like, does gym fail videos.
Oh,
and stuff.
Ozzy Man?
He's like,
Ozzy Man reviews?
yeah.
Dude, he's
amazing.
He is my
He's
best
like,
friend.
oh, yeah.
He's like, why the fuck's he drinking it like that? He's like, he like sloshes a little bit in his mouth. He's like, my gills are I almost said inebriated. My gills are liquidated. Everything is fine.
It's called hydration,
Hydrated.
bro. Hydration.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Did you
selling them?
did you take science? Do you know biology?
Actually,
Do you have the YouTubes?
Do you have the YouTube?
I'm pretty sure this week
That's
we
gotta go on a
confirmed,
shirt, man.
we confirmed that I am anti-science.
Why?
Well, of course he is, dude.
Just totally
It's because you're Republican.
I'm actually not Republican, but
Where's your ointment?
I'm actually not Republican though. I got a funny story.
Are you centrist?
Super libertarian.
I got today. I'm sitting there, right, quarantined at home, doing fucking nothing. So the phone rings and Sarah giggles and she's like, "It says political call." And I'm like, "Well, what the?" I thought it might have been the state calling me back, right? Because I've been fucking complaining a lot for the last week.
It
And,
said political call. That's
said political call.
The man finish.
So it was a spam call, but it was from the RNC, right? So they're like, well, your support is very important to us. Donald Trump is fighting the good fight for America. Can we? He's like, when you get the envelope, can we count on you for a donation? And I flat said, I will never donate to a political fund, let alone a billionaire.
And that is why the libertarians will never win.
That's fair. Totally fair. That is totally fair.
He's been waiting the whole time to say that. It didn't matter what he said.
That's fair.
That statement was going to be valid.
Yeah.
So, in response, the recording says, well, it doesn't have to be much. And I said, I don't know if you understand. Never anything.
So now you're telling me you're arguing with a
No,
recorder.
then I hung up.
You're so emotional. You're arguing with a pre-recording.
Sometimes I get bored and I talk to the robots that call here. They're like, oh, something.
Jakey, that's called being a loser.
Holy shit.
That's fair enough.
Who invited this guy?
So, I mean,
Jake, it's okay.
I'm just messing
The bully
with
or
you.
the loser?
this was we're recording this the day that we have to show our papers when we travel.
Wow.
In the,
I do have my paper, though.
and we're not talking
Work gave
1939
me my
Poland
paper.
either. We're talking.
I have my Star of David
I have
hanging
essential.
from my.
What do you guys do?
I'm a lab tech, but our plant.
Don't be specific.
No, our plant. We have a product that has medical applications that hasn't been running for 8 months.
Do you have access
That's
to any
such
explosive
BS, dude.
chemicals?
Vagina
Yes,
gel
we have-
does not count as medical.
Hold on.
Several explosive chemicals.
Let's get into the point that this company has been recognized as essential
Oh my God.
for a product line that they have made for almost a year, right?
Yes,
Is that what
we
you're saying?
also make food container parts for food containers. We make the moisture resistant lining that are in like cotton
Right, but
bottles.
you guys know that the governor, like, she announced at 11 o'clock yesterday the new lockdown order.
Yep.
At 8 o'clock, they were having a meeting with business leaders, and I air quote business leaders. So what does that mean? What was happening in that? They're like, are they talking to like Bass Pro Shop? And Bass Pro is like, listen, we're not gonna fucking do it. You know, like,
I guarantee you.
Probably.
that's
So,
what-
like,
Lawyers, yeah.
Like, okay, how much are you going to pay me?
So should I? I'm sorry. So should I have been there and been like, listen, I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Your hands are really dry.
They would have been like, oh, they would have looked at you because you're not a lawyer and been like, yeah, let's sign this contract, and then just say, okay, you're suspended.
There's a lot of
Give me more
business.
credit, man. I wouldn't have just fucking signed on the dotted line anything from the state.
He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
There's definitely a lot of businesses that skirted around the outside to get around this order to stay open, and I mean a lot.
Well,
Depends on how much money you make.
I don't know.
dude.
Acropolis thought about like literally trying to figure out how we could be essential. So
I mean,
Should start
that's
hand
fair.
assembling nests.
Mental health.
If you're a small business and you're trying to stay open and you want to, go against this order, you got to play the system a little bit, right? And so that's
you
fair.
just stand in front of it
Right.
and get run over by the fucking monolith that is the government and just watch everybody like, oh, I fucking told you were going to die, you idiot.
Yeah, but according to a lot of people, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't push back anyways. So
Right.
why even try?
Right, why,
Yeah.
just
Do you really think you could push back?
I hate that mentality. That's just
You know
like
what?
it's
This
a
all sounds
defeatist.
familiar. Like it's coming from a particular
even if
source.
it resulted in like an article in the Daily Telegram saying small business owner refused to close, that's
Gets punched in the
It's,
nuts.
it's
now
such-
serving
that-
life in prison for trumped up charges.
But it's a defeatist attitude. Like,
I agree.
I don't
I
like
agree.
how it is, but there's nothing I can do about it. Well, nothing is ever going to change if you don't ever try.
well, even that article could could be a catalyst or produce a movement towards change.
Hell, I could be the next libertarian candidate for president. I could get 1% of the national vote.
All you
Listen,
got,
man,
all
I'll
you
be
got to do
honest.
is call Donald Trump a pussy.
I'll be honest. Actually, if we're being completely honest, all you got to do is say you got a chance to beat him, because that's like the whole Democratic party right now.
That's literally.
That's how
That's
they.
their platform.
The polls say I could beat him.
We can beat him.
The polls say I
but
could beat him. You
anyways,
should vote for me.
I'm being 100% honest. If you run
not wrong.
for libertarian, I will not vote for you.
That's fair. That's fair. I
You should
don't know.
vote. You should run
I
for
feel
Green
like-
Party.
I feel
I'm
like
going to
I
tell
would be
everybody I know
independent.
you, though.
I feel like I would be independent because, like, I don't. Like, the Libertarian Party is a little wild.
Yeah, they take nothing seriously.
Crazy.
No, and
I don't know about wild's the wrong word.
And that's what I don't like because, like, libertarianism is, like, in my opinion, at least, it's a valid political ideology, I guess. I don't know.
But most libertarians barely even think that.
Well, no, that's fair.
Like,
That's
if you
fine.
look at the like what happened at, I think it might have been the last or second last Libertarian National Convention. Like, one guy stripped down to his underwear while he was the speaker.
And that's that right there. That's why. Like,
Yeah,
they
nobody-
have no validity.
They don't take it
So
seriously.
that's the thing is, like, if you're third party, you're not really going to be taken seriously. If you're Democrat, your whole platform is just beating Trump, and if you're Republican, you're Trump. That's it.
for this
This
year,
time.
for this presidential election. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm young enough to not really know what a Republican platform really should be because, like, when
When we turned
Bush-
of age, it was Obama.
when even before I remember when Bush was running against Gore, and I remember that it was basically like let's get away from the corruption. It was the opposite of what we got now. Let's get away from the corruption of Clinton.
Right.
Right now, it's like we got to fight Trump. Then it was like, you know what, we're the anti-Clinton.
I just don't like the idea.
Climate change was a big thing in that one too. Sorry, Tony.
I don't like that the whole idea is just that, like, I'm your best option to get him out of
I agree.
office.
I totally
That's
agree.
That's just a bad, like, precedent to start.
So then, what do you do if you win? That's exactly.
Yeah, what platform
so,
did you have
So
on?
now your entire campaign, you fulfilled every promise you've made.
Oh, it's
because you
easy.
beat Donald Trump.
It's easy to just listen to what the DNC wants, and then they'll do that.
The DNC
Just
is
follow
a
the
very
populist
corrupt organization, man.
Method.
What's the DNC?
Democratic
What
National
organization isn't corrupt in some way?
Well,
That's that defeatist attitude, man.
No. I'm not saying
I don't
it in a
disagree.
defeatist way. I'm just stating.
I don't know
which what
if-
corporation isn't somewhat corrupt.
I don't know if Tesla is.
Tesla definitely.
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Tesla definitely.
Bro,
Yeah.
when you make
Definitely.
when you're $1 billion corporation, you're corrupted. There's
I
no
don't-
way. There's no way to not be corrupted and
I
be
don't
that
disagree with
wealthy.
When you've got billions of dollars, like
I
you're-
disagree. I think you underestimate
Keeping
the
that is so
populace's money power.
I mean, you could have people in there, even the person that spearheads the company or the
What do you mean,
corporation, be a good person. But to
Well,
get to that point of wealth, you have to have people in that corporation that did something to exploit other people.
That
and
doesn't
to be-
necessarily
and
mean
to
the
be corrupt
corporation's
too.
condoning it.
no. And I don't know
also
that's 100%,
exploit
but
is-
I think that's entirely plausible.
Also, exploit is like, I don't want to use that term loosely. Like,
I don't know. And that's kind of where I kind of disagree. Because, like, what corporation hasn't... what extremely successful corporation has not exploited someone?
That's
We don't
very-
have very many.
I mean,
very
you
many,
get the. I
very
don't
much
know
historical
all the
context
all
to
the
where they haven't. You know, historical citations. I'm sorry, not context, but I mean, look at Dole, right? The fucking fruit company.
Bob Dole.
They were built on immigration labor.
Well, they were also built on using the U.S. military to go in and strong arm these places where this fruit was able to be grown in the early 1900s. There's a whole book about it.
I don't know if there's a single corporation that hasn't made billions without exploiting
Yeah.
someone.
Well, look
when you
at
get to the
Net-
10-figure number, it's pretty hard to find a company that
Yeah,
isn't.
look at Nestle's
pretty heavily corrupt.
position on water.
Yeah.
A couple
Oh my
years ago,
God.
they said like water's a commodity and we own control of it. And it's like,
That.
you remember that?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And they were trying to take the Great Lakes water too.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fucking
They do.
Michigan
Water.
straight up
Well,
told,
like more of it.
They did.
Yeah, Michigan straight up told them to go
Yeah,
fuck
successfully.
themselves.
Yeah.
For $200.
There's gonna be.
Bad. Oh, sorry. I didn't
That's
mean to
why he
swear.
doesn't
No,
support them.
this one's fine. I've
drinks
you ever heard me
only-
swearing? I've been swearing the
Anything
entire time.
but.
Aquafina.
Aquafina. I don't like Aquafina. That's my girlfriend.
Like, I mean,
I
the,
tell her
the
not to buy
government's
Nestle,
already
though.
making us have to have like permits to collect freaking rainwater and go fishing and do all sorts of crap.
Libertarians aren't too fucking nuts when they
You
fight
know,
that
like,
shit.
oh
on.
yeah,
Well, they're still nuts,
excuse
but
me, I want
they're
to
just
survive.
crazy with a point, right?
Like I just want to survive in the wilderness. I guess I need the government's permission to be in the wilderness.
Well, I think
You
that's-
sound a lot like that fucking. What was that guy?
Be in the wilderness.
No, the Unabomber.
no, I'm just saying.
I was-
like, if I want to go live in the damn woods and mind my own
Dude,
damn business.
read his manifesto.
But the
Okay, I guess I'm a freaking terror. Well, excuse me.
Oh, this is going on the internet.
the
You got a phone, man. They heard you if they want to hear it.
That's true.
the intent behind fishing licenses and hunting times.
Fishing licenses.
You know what they say? The
Yeah, the limit,
the road
right?
to heaven was paid, or the road to hell was paved with good intentions.
Intention.
That's true, but like
they're
you
limiting
would
it.
imagine.
That's a great
Can you
segue.
imagine like the depleted amount of wildlife and resources if it was just free reign
but
always?
you can be anti-fishing license. You can be anti-government permission for this kind of stuff and be pro-conservation. Like
Yeah.
nobody's saying that
They're
we
not
should.
synonymous.
That's
I agree.
true. That's true.
But at the same time, how many times have you? I actually like fishing a lot. I used to go out all the time.
I don't
I haven't been
understand
in a couple of years, but like, I have never been stopped by the DNR. Like, have you?
No.
I never had anybody ever come up to you and say, "Let me see your license."
No, I'm not.
Or let me see how many trout you have in your
Yeah.
trunk.
The
You know?
DNR does have a lot of enforcement power, though.
They
Like,
do.
They have more power than
I get
police.
that
They can search without warrants. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that they have that power.
I got you, but you've never.
They don't have enough manpower to actually enforce
Right.
it.
Most of
That's
them.
that's very true.
The
That's
The
why
threat of them being around is kind of their
Only
enforcement.
one time.
So what's the point? It's just to make money. It's just for the
Exactly.
state to make
Mostly.
money.
but that's the problem. It's a money grab from the government just to be like, hey, we need to find a way to get more money into our coffers. Let's make people have to pay to be able to go fishing.
not.
not
I don't
wrong.
think. I don't
You're
think
not
that
wrong.
there was like.
But a lot of the times that money. So I'm sorry.
I'm gonna break your fingers.
Okay, you
I
go
don't
first.
think there was like
Well, finish
a whole like table of people who were like, "How can we make extra money?" And then that's what they did. I think it evolved to that point where they were just like,
That's fair.
"We can't enforce this. I don't care."
Well, yeah.
We
Let's
need
not
that
take it.
revenue.
Let's not take it off the books because
need
we
that
are getting
revenue.
revenue
Yeah,
from
that's
it.
fair. It probably got to the point where like, well, this is really obsolete, but it's making us money, so
Dude,
let's just
I
keep
really,
it there.
I think seatbelts, because that's a much later proposition. I'm pretty sure seatbelts. They said that's a revenue thing.
Seatbelts is my. That's where my libertarian jumps out.
Hell yeah!
It's like I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
high-fiving you for that.
Well, yeah, man. If you want to drive a car in an unsafe way, that's your decision, right?
Nah, not necessarily.
well, no, that's different.
Yeah,
because
because
driving,
then
because
you
the
can
car
hurt
can be
somebody
a
else.
weapon.
Well, excuse me. If you want to be unsafe in your
While
own
driving,
vehicle,
yes.
that's your choice.
That is your right.
That is your choice.
Make your point, Jake.
Reworded it.
Well,
Sorry.
that's my point. Is going back to the fishing licensing and hunting licensing.
We've
and
moved
stuff.
on from that, bro.
I was really trying to make a point.
He wanted to speak, and everyone kept interrupting him.
So, and obviously, this the response to this is going to be it's just it could be just a clever cover or saving face, but a lot of times they use money with those licensing for the cause it is. So, like fishing licensing helps for the lakes in the area to keep it clean.
But what
and
about
stuff.
park passes?
I mean,
That's the whole point of that.
some of that
That's
money.
the whole point of them charging for that.
I'm saying.
I mean, some of that money.
No, like park passes.
Oh, okay, yeah. For park, well, not everywhere is a park, is what I'm saying.
No, but like it goes into a state slush fund. You know, you buy a park, you buy a pass to the state park in Saline.
Yeah.
It goes in. You know what I mean? It's one account.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
donating to charity, right? So you donate to charity, but how much of your donation actually goes to the charity?
That's what I'm saying. It's a good point. Like it could just be a small amount goes to it just to save face.
Yep.
My whole point is I believe the intent for these licensing is to prevent over
Abusive.
It is.
over hunting, overfishing.
well, that's
I-
and it just being there prevents
that's
people from doing
that's on the
that.
face.
And
right?
you know why that
Yeah.
is? Because humanity is a blight on this
Well,
earth.
okay, you know,
my
that's
God.
an interesting point. So, like,
That's what the coronavirus is.
I don't know how familiar you guys
correct
are with like how the logging industry, like in northern Michigan, like the Saginaw area.
I know a lot about the logging industry.
Yeah, you look like a lumberjack.
No, nobody knows about that.
I mean, I don't know a lot about the industry. I'm just
Jimber
talking
timber.
historically. You should really look up the pictures. It's like wild to see like pictures from the mid 1800s. Like the literal rivers are just filled with timber. And they would go through.
Oh
the
yeah,
area
they
and
push it down the river.
Did
Yeah.
you like
Cut-
it because it was called timber?
I'm yelling
But
timber.
they would cut down every fucking tree and just move on. You know what I mean? So like, there was no thought to
Yeah, they
conservation.
didn't know anybody.
Almost
they-
like humanity is a blight
Well,
on this earth.
That's fair, but they would they would fucking hunt an area until like extinction, right? So there is an element of conservation, but like I feel like societally we're different now. And maybe
agree,
that's
I agree
that's
with that.
naive, but
Or maybe Mother Nature's
No, I
finally
mean,
said,
it's
fuck humanity. Here's coronavirus.
There's a lot of things that
no matter what goes on with this virus, we'll fucking survive.
I mean,
telling
we
you,
will.
like,
For sure.
This will not be what kills people. in
no.
general.
If anything, it's going to be if we
Asteroids.
get to that. Well, I don't know. You tell me when I'm allowed to talk.
Eli, let the
Tony's
man
gonna say
fucking
World
talk.
War III.
I said one
and-
word.
No, like what? What is going to kill people is people. If we get to the point where we're panicking, and this is a military state, you know, like that's when it's going to.
I'm legitimately concerned about that. Right
That's
now.
when it's going
That's a
to
lot of
affect people.
wood.
If I had a fucking dollar.
Oh man, that's what she said.
No, it's just. But
But
they
you
would-
know, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be that the virus kills thousands of people. It's that
it's our reaction to
it's
it.
that people are going to be defensive of their property, and it's going to be like that video you shared about
The Boogaloo.
New Orleans. Like, people are not going to want to follow the rules because it's unconstitutional,
And they have every right to resist that stuff. It's scary though, man. Like,
Yeah,
you're right.
it is.
I mean, you're
It is.
totally
I don't
right.
think that's the downfall of humanity.
If there's anything that's
You'll
going
be
to
the
happen,
downfall of the
it's
US.
going to be people versus people. It's not going to be this virus that does it.
Oh, I agree that I think it's
Yeah.
gonna if it would escalate into world conflict.
I do agree with you.
Yeah, the
it
best
will. It
thing-
will. People will screw themselves over.
The best thing we can hope for in this situation, man, is a V for Vendetta moment, right? So, like, well, hang on, hear me out.
you
hear me
seen
out.
How far? Yeah,
Hear me out, hear me out.
It doesn't end well.
I don't want to wish for that.
I don't want to get to that point.
No, because there's going to be an order. So, like, it didn't happen in New Orleans in 2005. Okay, they ignored what was right and they went in and took people's weapons. Okay, what I'm saying, the V for Vendetta moment is when they're approaching the line of police and they're like, "You got to kill him." Like, pull the trigger, and those guys they just stand down. That's what it's going to take. Is people like because Gretchen Whitmer's not going door to door. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be. You're saying it's gonna be.
It's got to be the people on the ground.
So you meant that moment in particular
I meant
for
the, like,
V for Vendetta.
the good part of the film, not like I hope not that they unleash a
explosion.
That might be the
biovirus.
only good part of the film, as
Well,
in
I
like
mean-
moral goodness.
To back up that point, they wouldn't have been able to make that decision if they didn't have opposition. They didn't
Exactly.
have people standing for what they believed in.
I freaking love that movie.
A great
It's
movie.
a good film, man.
It is a good film.
I'm gonna go watch it tonight.
That's a good point, Tony. And what's you and I are not like we've been accused of being an echo chamber,
I don't understand how that's possible.
but we're not. I mean,
I want to
we're-
go on the record and say that I'm not batshit crazy, and he is.
That's fair.
You want to know why you guys are accused of being an echo chamber? Because when you agree, you guys agree so adamantly with each other in such a passionate way, it just gives off that that aura that you guys are just like perpetrating each other's
So the
viewpoints.
1% outshines the other 99 just because like. I mean that's fair.
It baffles.
No,
not
I'm
fair.
just saying. I'm
That's not
saying
fair.
That's fair.
You can't say that's fair.
I'm just stating as to why some people might think you guys are an echo chamber because they don't see you guys arguing about other stuff or
Pretty
discussing
much
other
all
stuff.
we do is argue and disagree.
They disagree primarily.
But the thing
yeah.
is, we disagree
Maturely.
on many things, but like, yeah, it's maturely.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
Every once in a while, I might get that heated, but
I've never seen Tim get that point. Now, admittedly, I've gotten close, but like I've never seen Tim hit the point where he's like, "You're stupid
that's
for
because
not
Tim
believing."
just does not like confrontation.
We recorded it.
I don't like confrontation.
He did once.
Well, I mean, I'm saying with me.
Oh, right,
That was
yeah.
me.
Remember
Who
when
would I do it against?
Brad.
Of course.
Shocker.
Brad Pitt.
Was that the last version of the show?
Yeah.
Brad's been wearing on Tim's patience
Dude,
for
yeah,
12,
I was there for that one
20
too.
years. So.
But I mean, and to be fair, that's fair. I shouldn't have done that, but to be fair to me,
You've dealt with him for most of your life.
But Brad wasn't listening. Like we would make a point and a counterpoint, and there was never like he was.
See, he wouldn't deal with. If I can interject,
Yeah.
he wouldn't deal with the counterpoint.
Oh, I know.
He'd just be like,
He would reiterate.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, my point is this.
That's like the
That's
Facebook
not how
argument we were having.
You can't dismiss somebody's reasoning to rebuttal something you bring up and then just go into a whole different
That's what
conversation.
happened for a half hour, man.
I know.
It was longer because I was like longer. We're not going to get back into that, but the entire crux of it was that exploiting Chinese workers, even if they got more money out of the deal, right? So Chinese workers had $1 in their pocket now instead of none. It doesn't mean it's a better deal for them.
Yeah, I mean, for the hell's
That's
sake,
literally was my point.
They have suicide
and
nets.
backing up on that point was that it doesn't make it morally okay.
Because they're more wealthy, but they're still slaves.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
still
for God's
not
sake,
Building an outhouse for a slave doesn't change the fact that
they're
they're
a slave. Yeah, you
But
just give
since
them a
I
place.
agree with Tim on that point, that means we agree on everything.
Yeah, they see you guys agree
Yeah.
one time, and now you're an echo chamber, and you can't be trusted with a good argument.
believe that was said.
People make
I'm baffled
the
by
most craziest assumptions on people based on like one or two occurrences of
People think I'm a lunatic libertarian. Like we need to do something about this.
you are wearing
Lunatic,
blue
yes.
hat.
Libertarian, no.
It's a My Hero Academia hat.
Yep.
Now, that's every AW hat
Blue.
I've ever seen.
You got a blue shirt on.
So, okay.
Goku shirt.
I have a crazy conspiracy,
I have one too.
and I didn't want to say this, but
I do want to talk some conspiracy
okay.
stuff.
So about 6 months ago, we had a big hiatus with like China government in Hong Kong, and then all of a sudden, Corona comes out.
There's a fucking meme where it's like when you create.
That's dark, man.
There's a meme that's I don't know.
We're talking about V for Vendetta, so
the doll, right? You know what I mean? That's like looking at you sideways, and it's like, oh shit.
Annabelle?
No. It's like a cartoon.
the cartoon guy, the guy.
But
was
it's like when you create a virus to kill the protesters in one of your biggest cities, and it accidentally goes global. The doll is China. It's like, oh shit.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if it was just supposed to be a country scare, and it ended up like accidentally becoming a global pandemic.
Yeah,
I
I
wanna
if it
go
was
ra-
like Hiroshima, but like
Well, that
with a
was,
virus.
That was an attack.
I want to go. Yeah,
how is that any
different?
different?
from a different country.
I want to go around the table here.
Not within.
and I want to hear I just want your percentage. No explanation. What percentage chance is it that coronavirus is a man-made
Oh my
bioweapon?
god! No
hang on.
context.
No, I just want to know what
I don't know
like,
if I
what's the
can do
opportunity?
Just a percentage.
For me, I would say maybe 10% because coronavirus is a normally existing thing.
No because.
No.
No
because? We're not doing because?
10%. He said 10%.
We can come back to the because, but
Okay,
I wanted to get everybody's
10%.
number first.
I'm going 25%.
I'm saying 0.05%.
I'm going to say 25%.
I got
if it had shown up in China,
At the end of the
I feel
table?
like we're gonna agree
Yes.
on a lot of this.
I think we are.
chance that it's a bioweapon,
5%.
5%.
So I'm basing this on
no zombies. have
Nobody
shown
said
up.
zero. What'd you say?
Only
Well,
because
bioweapon,
Like it's man-made.
man-made, like 50.
50 that it's man-made.
I
You see, it is a naturally
But,
occurring.
that's,
It
where
is.
that's where the context comes in.
Yeah,
but-
right.
Right, now we can talk about context as
No,
well.
so like just because it's possible, I feel like you can't dismiss it as
You can't say
completely
0%,
impossible.
right? Yes, that's fair.
my whole thing is that would not be surprised. I
wouldn't put it past
I think
China.
it's
I
unlikely.
didn't say I would be surprised.
I
But
think, I think it's unlikely, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
So,
I'm on
so
the same
Eli
page.
and Tony are pretty unlikely. You're very unlikely.
Yeah.
You're pretty much unlikely.
Yeah.
Mike, I think Mike said.
No, because
I think Mike
being a
went 10.
bioweapon and being completely
he's with
man-made
us.
are two different things.
Yeah, that's true.
I said man-made. Yeah, I don't know about bioweapon.
Man-made is one thing. Bioweapon is something.
So coronavirus has been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yes.
You know,
It is-
it's been around.
Can I
The
can I say
classification.
something real quick? COVID-19, the disease that people have,
That's costing us
Is-
our freedom.
it was
hold on.
named from a 2019 human case.
Oh yeah, no, I
So it's
I agree.
it has been around for at least
he was
a
saying,
year.
I agree. So you're saying coronavirus is a classification of viruses like SARS was a coronavirus.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
being said, this
100%.
does not mean that you can't take a coronavirus and mutate it.
You can't.
So hold on. Do you know anything about SARS?
Nope.
So SARS had like a 34% mortality rate.
That's
so you're
high.
telling me they took a virus that was not great at killing people, but better than almost anything else on the market, we could say,
Yeah,
and made
third
it
of
worse?
people.
made it
Well,
worse.
it's not worse, right?
Oh, it's way worse.
Okay, now hang on.
COVID-19 is worse than SARS.
COVID-19 has like a
0.5
4%.
or-
No,
yeah,
it's like
you just said
34.
34.
Yeah, it's
That's
but hang on.
SARS.
All right.
Yeah,
No,
you
but
said
SARS
it.
wasn't as easy to
made
transfer.
made it less effective.
Yes.
No,
I thought you
no.
meant-
Hang
I
on.
thought-
They made that maybe it kills less frequently, but it infects more people. So you kill
No,
more
it,
people.
no. SARS, in fact, it
was
had
more
a much
infectious?
higher infectious rate, but they contained it.
Yeah, but
there was
they-
only like 5,000 cases.
Yeah, how did
If
they
the
contain
intent
SARS?
was to scare people and not to destroy them,
Why does all this shit
Not
come from
just-
China?
Because
Wait, hang on.
China is the most densely populated country
It
on the
comes
planet.
from. Hang on.
India is now,
It comes
though.
from
Oh, that's true.
India is
China.
now.
China.
China.
No, you gotta do it like this.
Everything
No.
is made in China.
You gotta do it like this.
China.
You gotta do it like this. China.
Why do you
you
keep
see
saying
the-
this Chinese virus, President Trump?
Because it comes from China.
China.
Did you see the meme?
oh my god, this is gonna be so
Dude, I
intense.
was watching that press conference. I got so fucking mad. It's like, you fucking idiot! You represent us.
I don't want to say things on here because even if I find them funny, people might not think it's funny.
I love you.
Just go for it.
There's a meme that said,
China.
it was like, how can you call it the Chinese virus, Mr. President? Like, it's not a people thing. It's just where it originated. It's like chickadee China, the Chinese virus. See, it's not good, but it's
I call
that's funny.
I say it's China virus because it's from China.
the kung flu.
China.
China.
No, I saw that. I was like, oh, all right.
China.
It's not diplomatic. He's not good at being diplomatic.
Which is weird because he's a businessman. He should be good at being able to
No,
talk to
businessmen
people.
are good at being bullies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, political. I guess. All right.
Dude, I watched a video of all the like missteps he's had in presentations, and he does that kind of stuff a lot.
He
Like,
leans into it, though.
he'll
He'll
say
lean
like
into
something
it.
wrong and just like
Well, that's a
Plow
double-edged
right into
sword
it.
because, like,
roll right into
because
it.
Yeah.
A, it doesn't do anything for his image, and B, it is a weapon to be used against
But
something.
I think it's important when analyzing Trump that he doesn't give a fuck about
No,
his image.
I understand that, but like,
Just look at it.
it's used as a weapon to go against
That's probably
his
strength,
platform
though.
and
That-
not his policies.
that's what got him elected.
His strength is like understanding his weaknesses and just he's the Bill Belichick of fucking politics right now. If you ask
I
me,
don't
'cause he's
understand the reference.
That's fine.
He's one of the
Me
best
neither.
football
It's-
coaches of all time.
Well, but it's
That's why it's football.
But it's an isolation of his weaknesses, right? And he just stays away from them. You know, and if he fucks up like that, he'll just lean into it. You know, it gives him an air of
Arrogance?
Genuine,
well,
genuineness.
Yeah, genuine in that regard. but, like,
Genuineness. Stupid.
So
I don't know
I'm talking-
words.
I agree with like for personally him. What I'm saying is when we're talking about like talking to everyone else who may support or not support Trump, and so anyone that sees that
I don't.
is going to use that as a weapon against against his platform, not his policies. And then anyone who's in support of him is just going to.
Well, right. People that
fall
don't
in and-
like him, they're going to highlight those things and say, "Look at this guy. He's a non.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole who doesn't care about say China, right?" But then people that support him, they're going to see the human side of that, like, "Oh, he fucked up and he leaned into it." You know, he's not giving.
Good for him for not taking shit from those stupid reporters.
Yeah.
can see
Rather
Well, I
than
mean,
saying for people who support him, rather than saying he needs to act more mature, and then the people against him's like he should not be president because of the way he acts, rather than his
Well,
policy.
It's
It's like a double-edged sword.
I don't think it has anything to do with being president or being charismatic. I think, in my opinion, it's immature. Like if you come
don't
out
disagree.
and say something wrong and then you defend it knowing that it's wrong, instead of just saying, "Look, I made a mistake." You don't even have to say I made a mistake.
I don't know if you'll see Trump
I
admit
agree
he
with
made a
that.
mistake.
Yeah.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
That's
no,
it's
I don't disagree.
immaturity.
I don't disagree.
Like,
I admittedly have not watched a lot of Trump speak until this whole thing has.
You should watch a lot of
Really?
you should watch a lot of
Yeah,
his
not-
old videos from like 20, 30 years ago. He's much better spoken.
much more articulate.
He's 76 years old or whatever. You know what I mean? And
He's
like-
got
I have
dementia.
seen 76-year-old people that are very charismatic and well spoken.
well, that's fair. That's
Like,
fair.
like,
I don't think that's
like
an
Bernie
excuse for him,
Sanders.
Healthcare is a human right.
Is that what he sounds like?
I will say
exactly- that was
whatever
good. That
it
was a good
takes for you to elect me.
That's a big problem with Bernie.
Yeah,
it's a big
that's
fucking
what it
problem.
feels like.
Well, that guy is a fucking serpent, man. Like, I know people like him. They don't like him as much as they did in 2016.
Apparently, they don't like as much as they like Biden, which I don't
get
understand
that at all.
They
I
just
don't
want
get that
they
at
just
all.
want an old guy that smells people's hairs in office, man.
That's
I'm
fair.
about that.
Hang
though.
on, let me come
He
back
likes
to-
ice cream a lot. I'm about that.
Yeah, they do that with Warren Buffett too. Fucking bankrupts a bunch of people. Biden's a cocksucker.
This is
Hey,
the problem.
We'll get to fucking corn pop in a minute.
We gotta-
hang on. Hang on. Let me finish my point about
Yeah.
Trump. I haven't watched a lot of what a lot of his speeches or anything. I'm not one of the type of people that like watches a political rally. Not my thing, right?
Really?
I'll watch key speaks, but I won't watch the whole thing either.
Well, sure, like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
So, like, but watching this coronavirus stuff and, like, just listen to what he says. Like, he will come in and be like, we've done, frankly, a fantastic job. That, frankly,
dumb it down a little bit.
That's about it.
He can go farther.
frankly, nobody would have done as good a job as we have done.
I love the hand gestures. Right?
Yeah.
That is perfect.
No one can see it, but there are
But,
hand
like-
gestures
like,
to go with
they're,
it.
they're talking about. He was like, I don't. The first one I
Jake's
watched
losing his
about
mind.
the first one I watched about coronavirus. He says, "Well, frankly, my handling at the beginning of this crisis was unmatched. Nobody could have done is what I did at the beginning."
And
Frankly,
he did nothing.
Well, I mean,
He denied
you
it
can be
for-
pretty critical of the way he handled the original.
Can you look me in the eyes and say that without laughing?
Bro, I'm not a.
I'm not saying you can be critical, and you should be critical of how he.
Oh,
handled it.
gotcha. Well, I don't know all the details, but I think it's totally fair to say. I personally think we should have closed all international travel because
Do you know what he did? Well, the first thing he did was
no.
he instituted a 12-hour quarantine. The coronavirus has a 2-week incubation period where you're
That's fair.
infectious.
Yeah.
I will say okay.
And I will say really quickly, he got some really bad information from the WHO.
I believe
Yeah.
that. But the WHO also declared a worldwide pandemic,
There's a pandemic
and he
in-
ignored it.
Yeah, and that's,
When?
Yeah.
When?
didn't
It
they
was,
decla- I thought
It took him a really long time to do it.
That was like
December, I
late
think.
February. I
Yeah,
thought.
Okay,
no, it
yeah.
was before that.
Oh, I could have
was
sworn the
well before
pandemic
that.
wasn't until February.
They were intentionally keeping the pandemic not declared
Yeah,
for a while.
they kept it quiet for a good 2 months, but the World Health Organization was
Right.
Yeah, and they were the WHO was also saying for a while like it can't be spread from human to human.
Really?
It can.
so they're actually known for
fucking things up.
Well, I mean, you can look at it that way, but they're known for getting information out as quickly as possible and then retracting it when it's incorrect.
Bro, they're not a newspaper though. Like that's okay if you're a newspaper and you're like,
Right.
yeah, Tim fucking hit a dog. And you're like, no, it turns out
it's
Tim was at
usually-
home.
It's not saying, oh, you're okay with this. It's be aware of this. It's always in the worst case they can imagine.
That's fair. I mean,
and,
that's
then,
fair.
and then they can come back and say, look, man, it's way worse than we thought it was. Here's your new guidelines.
See, I guess to me, I'd rather them say Ebola's airborne, and then come back in 2 days and be like, okay, it's not airborne.
Normally, that's how it goes.
I'm okay with that. as
But
opposed
there was
to the
a lot
inverse.
and to Trump's defense, there was a lot of unknowns about this virus.
Yeah, I think there still are. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think we're still.
I watched this video that talked about how the difference between this virus and the influenza, and like the key difference is that it causes your immune system to attack itself.
really.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's more than just a respiratory
It
virus.
basically stays in your lungs, but it causes your immune system to attack your lungs,
that's bad.
which is why it has a differing level of severity with each person.
Which is why it feels like you have a ton of glass just in your lungs every time you breathe. It's horrible.
That's brutal, man.
And also why it would affect the elderly much more than it affects the younger
Well,
people.
anybody who has a weakened immune system.
Weakened immune system, but I mean the elderly are just weakened in general.
Jesus, man, that was really ageist of you.
So the WHO didn't declare.
Ageist and scientifically fact.
The WHO didn't declare a pandemic until March 11th.
March 11th. I thought it was like the end of February.
No,
Holy
it
shit.
was really recent.
So it's like
Wow, yeah, it was really recent.
2 weeks
It wasn't
ago.
until
Yeah.
March.
I'm proud of you.
Where did you find that? Because that's not what I read.
Time.com, who.int, are all saying it.
I'll have to get that. Well, it'll have to be at a later date, but I know I have a link that says.
Did you get some back-end information, Tony?
No, I don't. It's.
Because
I gotta check the.
yeah, I mean, Time.com says the WHO just declared coronavirus a pandemic. Washington Post, March 11th, WHO declares a pandemic of coronavirus. It's all March 11th.
I do want to say,
Right down the line.
you know, and not to absolve Trump from any mishandling of this entire thing. You know, I don't have all the information, but as far as issuing like a national stay in place order, they haven't done that yet. And I really like that because like it's so much harder to walk back the federal government than it is the state government.
That's true. It's been state to state right now.
And constitutionally, that's how it should be.
yeah,
right,
because
'cause all
we're
this-
the United States. We're not just America.
Right, and the needs of Wyoming are different than the needs of Michigan. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like they have like 22 cases or 28 cases in Wyoming. We have 1,300.
I feel like they're trying their best to keep things more localized when it comes to action with federal guidelines as opposed to a federal like hand stamp.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think guidelines.
But I'll tell you what,
were better.
if a lot of these people keep doing what they're freaking
That was
doing,
really loud, and we apologize for that.
sorry, but if a lot of people keep doing what they're doing, and they keep going around and spreading it around, and they're not taking this seriously, because we have a lot of people that aren't taking this
I
seriously.
feel like you're looking at me.
No, I'm not. I'm just. I'm staring at you because I'm talking to you.
That's
but we have a lot of people that just aren't taking this seriously. I know several people whom I work with, who I've been around, that are just like, "Oh yeah, this ain't shit. This ain't nothing. This is just a blah blah. It's just overblown government BS."
I will admit that I think I'm in the camp where I think we're still overreacting a bit. And,
I mean,
and I could be totally wrong. I'm using past experiences with Zika and all that shit.
The people that are panic buying, they're definitely overreacting.
Yes.
The people that
I'm not jumping on an airplane either and going. You know
What are we
what I mean?
talking
It's like I'm not.
On January 30th, the World Health Organization declared this a global public health emergency.
Okay, but not a pandemic.
They didn't use the terminology.
They didn't use the
pandemic. Okay.
terminology.
So they
pandemic.
said it
Well,
was serious.
to be fair,
So it's a big.
To be fair, you have
deal.
to.
But it's the big. But
January
it's the same.
30th.
It's
To
the
be fair,
same
you
thing,
have to like check some boxes before you can be called a pandemic.
Yeah.
Can't jump to pandemic.
Also, well, it's kind of a conspiracy theory that I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to, but there's an article that I found that was basically mentioning there's these bonds that would have become like pretty much worthless if they had declared a pandemic, and they still may have, but they were very against declaring a pandemic.
Well, it's a fear thing, right? Because as soon as you say pandemic, like that word has a different meaning.
That too, but there were some people who apparently stood to lose a whole lot of money.
Well, look at what those senators did with those fucking stocks.
That's
like you
bad.
want to talk about clapping people in irons right there.
Yeah, that was that.
And
that
Brad-
with stocks?
4 senators got a briefing about coronavirus in January, I want to say, and
I think so, yeah.
sold millions of dollars in stocks
Yeah,
before
yeah.
it got
Isn't
out
that
to the public.
insider trading?
Yes.
I don't know what it
it
is,
should
but
be.
But
it definitely is.
Isn't that what Martha Stewart went to jail for?
But
Yes.
they'll probably get
basically.
away
Yes.
with it
Like
because of some
specifically that.
loophole.
But just because you're a senator doesn't mean you don't have to follow the law.
You should be held to a higher standard, really.
Yeah.
You would think.
But they're going to get away with it because of some bureaucratic loophole.
All I know is we're
The
about.
U.S. is almost at Italy's cases, by the way.
All I know is we're about 3 or 4 more outbreaks away from losing
We are
the game.
like 20,000 times bigger than they are. So
they have almost 7,000 deaths in
Yeah,
Italy. But look at our deaths. I mean, our deaths are.
So Italy is like 25% geriatric. So like
yeah, they're all
like
old people.
their
Well, did you see what they
numbers
did?
are skewed also.
Italy's government basically said if you're over 80,
You're not
and you have
getting
the
a vaccine.
coronavirus, you are
that's-
low priority.
That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking to people.
It's because their health system broke down.
It's because they're too.
But that's
that.
what
We're
government
trying to
will
do.
do for you, right? Like eventually you are expendable. That Texas governor,
Yeah, but that's not
the
fair.
lieutenant governor comes out and he's like, "Well, people over X age need to just give up their lives for the economy."
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's
Said it
but that's
yesterday.
not fair.
No, I
Because,
get it, but like that's,
our government is trying to keep us from hitting the point that Italy hit.
I agree. But Italy is still getting out of control, even though they have everybody totally locked down.
But I mean, there's also
They haven't flattened the curve.
no, they haven't. No, so that's gone way up real quick, and it broke their health system. But culturally, that's also different there. You know, like we don't.
That's
put
a
as-
huge that's a huge thing.
Yeah, we don't put as much emphasis on family as Italy does. Like that, like you'll have 20 people living in one household.
Right.
Also, a lot of gatherings. Like,
Exactly. You know, it's normal for your kids to take care of you in your elderly years. Like, you're,
But culturally, also, we're not. I mean, at least I had this hope until recently that we would resist some of these draconian measures that the Italians and other places in the world they just kind of let happen, right? And it turns out I think I was mostly wrong.
I don't think we've hit the point of Italy yet, and I think that's thanks to some of the things we have put in place.
I would say
I
the
hope
only
so.
the only place that's really like been severely hit in America is New York, like really bad.
But they're also probably the most densely
Well,
populated
yeah, you got
city
people
Yeah.
living like
in the world almost, aren't they? Tony, is that
Mexico City's worse.
true? What's the most densely populated city in the world?
Oh.
Dubai?
No, I don't
It
think it's
might
Dubai.
be New Delhi.
Yeah, New Delhi.
I know Mexico
Yeah.
City's right up there. For
New
Yeah, no,
York's up there.
Dubai's pretty.
Sure.
New York City's for
New
sure
York's
up
top
there.
10, I would bet.
Yeah,
I'll
and
take
it's
a look.
also not like I don't think anyone thinks New York's a clean city.
But
I think it's infamously known as a non-clean city.
When I think of New York, I think of Batman.
Yeah, Gotham.
He's in Gotham, bro.
Yeah, but like I think it's
It's
pretty
based
much
on
based on
Manhattan.
I don't. What's Star City?
Star City Games.
Arrow.
Stars.
I know, but what city is that based on?
It's based off of an American
Arrow.
Midwest city.
It's based off an arrow.
They're all based off of Metropolis, which is like this ideal of a big city.
Okay.
They're all based off of New York or Chicago, bro.
Nah, not necessarily.
Mostly,
Anything in
mostly New
Marvel,
York,
yes.
mostly New York City though.
Mostly,
or Los
Do you know
Angeles.
why? Do you know why? This is a fun fact. We can get away from all these conspiracy theory bullshit.
There you
Oh,
go.
we haven't even touched conspiracy theory
Most
yet.
most artists in the late 20s and early 30s were looking for jobs, and they were all Jewish. Right, so they are coming over here.
You said
right?
getting out of conspiracies, and you go right into
It's
another.
out-
I didn't
one.
say it's not. This is a fact. You know, the people who made Superman, were Jews.
Yeah, that's racist, but okay.
Okay, but
They're
I don't
Jew-
see how it's racist.
They're Jewish, bro. Jews.
So, anyways,
Context. It's the context that matters.
all of these people were out of place, out of their home in this huge city of New York, which is why a lot of characters were made to have like really odd backstories. They're a man out of place, and they're in this giant city, usually New York. It's kind of a fun fact.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's actually pretty cool. Not racist.
Yeah, what Stan Lee is, isn't he? Or was?
Yeah, Stan Lee's Jewish. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
Lieber.
Yep. Yes, he is. Did you know another fun fact? He doesn't own the rights to his name.
What?
He lost the IP to his own name.
That's brutal.
His own nickname.
Stan Lee.
Right.
Stan Lee isn't actually his name.
Right.
Yeah, because his name is Stanley Lieber, right?
Yeah.
So the Stan Lee
But he does
moniker
not
is-
own the rights. He cannot make a dime off of the name Stan
I heard-
Lee.
What kind of crap? That's the.
I heard
that's
when-
messed up.
He's a bad businessman.
I heard towards the end of his life, he was just kind of like carted out to these conventions
Yeah.
to sign, like
He was, yeah.
for
Yeah.
many hours to sign
to
things.
say
and
that
take
he didn't
pictures.
want to do that though is one thing. Like, what if he did? What if he?
Right, but I mean, I specifically heard this from Comic Book Girl 19, like how like doing a show as a young woman is like brutal. You know, you're
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
exhausted. And, like they've got Stan Lee going from one to another at 85 years old or whatever. It was.
But he also wouldn't have
I
done
don't
it if he
know,
didn't
like-
love it though.
Well, I don't
If
know how
you
you
loved it-
apologize. Like, you can love the attention, but you physically can't do it at 80
Yeah.
years old.
He probably
But to say
loved
he
it, but that doesn't
didn't
mean you can
want
do
to
it for
do it is
8,
like
12 hours a
you
day.
can't say that.
Yeah, no, that's
He did or
fair.
didn't, like-
That's fair, but he could have broken it off at any time. It's like he had.
I don't
that-
think he could have though.
No, he is contractually obligated.
And he was also like he was under.
You know, like people will charge like $30 for like a autograph or something. He'd charge like $400.
Stan Lee would.
Oh yeah, dude. Especially towards the end.
He probably
A lot
just
of money.
wanted to charge so much so people wouldn't do it, so he could just go to these shows and relax and do nothing.
Have you been to a con?
You know, guess what? Actually, not a big one. No.
So okay,
Most densely populated city is Manila. Surprise.
Manila?
Yep.
The top three were Philippines.
Manila?
The top three
Yeah.
cities were
in
Philippines.
Jakarta, or not Jakarta, in Malaysia.
Philippines.
The Philippines,
Oh, duh.
Malaysia.
I said the top three cities were Philippines. Cities.
Really? What are the other two?
For greatest density.
Patros and
Have you seen Philippine prisons?
No.
Mandaluyong, maybe.
Oh, wait, yeah, is that the one where they did Thriller? Was that a Filipino prison?
Probably.
What?
You've never seen the Filipino prison video?
Yeah.
No.
They got all the prisoners, man. They're like doing.
I know-
It's dude. That's like a
I know
12-year-old
after
video.
I know after this is
No,
America,
it's like one of the first viral videos on YouTube.
I know after This Is America came out, there's like
We cannot play Michael Jackson.
No?
if we want it anywhere.
No, if it's soon,
Can you put it through our
if this
headphones?
goes up on YouTube with a Michael Jackson song, it will get struck down immediately.
I can do headphones. Sorry.
Shit.
Now we just got copy struck.
No,
No, that was headphones only.
Oh, man, you know.
Although it might have leaked through.
Yeah, because that was super loud.
to be fair, as long as it's like less than a second, we'll probably be all right.
July 17th, 2007.
I don't know.
This has 60 million.
We did a video.
views.
We filmed a video as a Blood Bowl game or a board game or something, and there was a small snippet of one of our customers.
Michael was listening to it in the background.
listening to music in the background. It's very quiet, very faint, and our
algorithm
video
still
got
caught it?
Yeah, it got demonetized.
Holy
Yep.
crap, man! YouTube's
Well-
got some insane tech.
I don't think you were monetized, but yeah, it
All our
probably got
videos
No,
are-
through.
all our
this
videos
was
are
back
monetized.
in the day.
You weren't monetized.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
all
where you
our-
could monetize every video individually.
Oh.
So this, I mean, this is like
Oh,
2
okay.
years back.
What are we watching?
Oh, somebody hadn't seen this.
I don't think Tony's seen it.
I've never seen
prisoners
this.
doing a Thriller dance.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
I've never seen this.
Me neither.
60 million people have.
You guys aren't one of them, apparently.
Why are we watching this?
Because they
60
didn't believe it
million
existed.
times it was watched. Okay,
Okay,
I
guys,
can't believe
listen.
that Tim hadn't watched it. Is what it was.
Oh, I've watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
I think it's
Doing it
Filipino.
horribly.
They're Filipino prisoners, dude. Like, they just want to live their lives
No, they don't. They want to get out of prison.
and live their life. Okay, so listen, I want to do a conspiracy thing here.
Okay. I have a conspiracy theory. Can I say mine?
You know what? I don't think you do, but let's hear it.
All right. I already told you it.
Okay, then
I'm
that's
pretty
it.
sure the world is ending because of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that
Can I
was.
talk about mine?
Yeah, let's hear you.
Mike, we haven't had a lot from you. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure, or like my conspiracy theory is that all of like the mass shootings we had are to form a giant transmutation circle to form a philosopher's stone.
Holy shit.
That's dark.
Yes.
You don't even know what he's talking about. This is a
Have you-
reference to an anime that you should have watched already.
Have you seen
Because it's
Full-
an
have you seen
incredible
Full Metal
anime.
Alchemist?
We are the three
That-
at this table that have watched it.
Just sounds
I know what
dark.
he's talking about, but wow.
You guys
Yeah,
are late.
their show, their country was
It's dark.
formed purely to make a transmutation circle so they could harvest the souls of the population of the entire country
To make
a
the
philosopher's
Philosopher's
stone
Stone.
so they could be immortal and take on the powers of a god.
Wow.
That was the backstory and like the giant arc of the whole anime.
You ruined
Dude.
Full Metal Alchemist for me.
Can I?
Listen,
No.
it's a
No,
lot
I didn't.
It's a lot deeper than that. Watch it. To give it a watch, it's worth it. Trust
Oh yeah,
me.
it's incredible.
And you'll
I just
understand
finished
that-
rewatching it.
I know the dog one.
You'll understand the Animal Crossing meme.
I
a lot
know
more.
that.
I skip
Based
that
on
episode
memes.
every time I watch it. I
Based
can't
on
watch
memes
that
alone,
episode.
I know that.
Michael,
Okay.
don't be a pussy. Watch the episode.
No.
If you watch Brotherhood, like legit, I don't feel like they give them enough time to hit you as hard in the feels.
Oh yeah.
Watch the regular one first.
All right, so
Okay, that's good. That's good. I always wanted to watch the regular one first, but Jake was always like, "You gotta watch Brotherhood."
No,
Brotherhood's
you gotta
better.
watch.
I like Brotherhood a lot,
The first
but-
one is slightly based off the manga, but it goes into its own because the manga hadn't been fully finished yet at that
Exactly.
point. The Brotherhood is completely to the manga as close as it could get for an adaptation
No,
to anime.
I like the.
Stop. Tim wants to talk about
guys,
conspiracy.
this is
hold
the
on.
conspiracy section,
Yeah, we
not
can
the
continue.
anime section.
well, this is following up his conspiracy, right?
Because the whole show was about conspiracy. But I feel like the Full Metal Alchemist.
Those weren't the ones I had in mind.
Too bad.
He was talking about real conspiracies, not weeb ones.
Just real quick though.
That's just rude.
I feel like the character development in Full Metal Alchemist was so much better than Brotherhood.
1000% agree.
Yes.
Anyways,
I have no
Final
opinion,
Fantasy
I'm sorry.
VII, the reason the world's ending is because of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Tim's got like
Square
real
Enix couldn't make a better game, so they just said we're gonna.
Tim's talking
release
about
it
like real life
and ruin
conspiracies,
the
and
world.
everyone's bringing out ludicrous conspiracies.
That's not ludicrous.
But
That's
my
real
conspiracy wasn't necessarily ludicrous.
So what's yours, Jake?
What was yours?
What's yours?
It was the Hong Kong one. It was
Oh, okay. How
China did it because of Hong Kong.
Okay, I guess.
Elaborate a little bit.
Let me rephrase this
about it.
Yes,
section
but
here.
this is
So-
a new thing.
Something that. Okay, let's just do the percentage thing again. Okay, let's just go back to the.
God.
Let's go back. We'll go back before we were
Okay,
born.
so it's all Tim's conspiracies and how much we agree with them.
Yep, sounds about right.
Well, I mean, these aren't my conspiracies.
What's
So
this?
it's a conspiracy
What's this one?
about conspiracy.
What's this conspiracy?
Okay, so let's start with JFK, right? So what are the chances? What's the percentage that it happened as the official narrative that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, shot him with a long rifle from the school book depository? What's the percentages?
The percentage that that's the truth?
Yes.
25%.
Okay.
Damn.
Oh, we're going off just Lee Harvey Oswald, like he.
Yeah,
like
the official narrative. What's the percentage that the official narrative is true?
50.
I have to give context.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I want to believe it 100%, but the trajectory doesn't add up. So I'm saying it was Magneto.
I like this. Yep. I'm in.
I'm going to say that there's
That would be.
a
the only bright
100%.
side.
50%.
There's a 0% chance that it's true.
50%.
What's yours? Eli.
I also agree with you.
0% that's the truth.
I agree. I 100% believe that the narrative that they put out there for the public is completely bogus.
Okay, if we're talking about if we're talking about the exact details, then sure, zero. There's something wrong there. But I would say
at least half of it's true.
I guess how much of it is true?
That's what I'm
is
going
what
with.
I'm going
yeah.
with. Is
That's where
50%.
That's where the
Okay,
context
so-
comes in, right?
Yeah.
I think we all know it's about zero.
50% truth.
Now,
There's some- there's
there
some
may
going
be
on.
truth involved.
That's what I'm saying.
There may
I'm
be
thinking
truth
it's
involved,
50%
but the official
true.
narrative is not true.
They got to
Half truth.
release something whether they know what it was or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I
Best-
think the
best
truth
lies-
died with that man.
That's true. I think that man was hired by the government.
Well, I think
was Magneto.
I think
Or
someone
it
was
was
saying
Woody
that they
Harrelson.
think the
Someone
driver
went
did
back
it.
in time and influenced it,
I've
and
seen
realized it
videos-
changed the world, and then
I've
went back
seen
in time
videos where
again.
it looks like the driver turns around and shoots
Yeah.
him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
No, I
I
don't
do
think
know
it's
the
that.
Zapruder film has been edited a lot. Like you do, when you YouTube it, you're not looking at the original film.
Did you guys
like
hear about-
frames are missing.
Did you guys hear about the time traveler that's in that film too?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's also hard to guess frames missing because that's an 8mm
watched a whole
camera,
show about that.
and they only run at like 15-ish frames a second.
That's
And we're
true.
used to seeing
Yeah.
30 or
That's fair.
24 for film.
That's fair. Okay, so let's make another run. 9/11.
Oh,
Now,
this
hang
is
on. Now, let me frame this. So, what percentage?
Steel beams. That's what I was thinking.
So what percentage?
Do we agree with?
Would you? No, not agree with. I need to. What percentage would you apply to? How do I frame this?
You should have thought about that before you started talking.
Don't talk to me ever. What was the, okay? Is the official narrative true? What percentage would you say that the official narrative is true?
You're good.
Like you have to take it all or nothing. You know, so 100% you agree, 50% you agree that's true.
I think I say
Or that's
again,
likely.
it's about 25% true just from the science and videos that I've seen.
Can we elaborate more on this? What is not true?
Well, we'll come back to that.
Tony, stop playing with my
talk.
cork.
We'll talk a little bit more.
He's got to
about,
get the percentages out first.
Yeah, we'll come back to 9/11.
Oh, you dick.
Talk a little bit more. What's the percentage? Jay?
It's 70% true.
No. That's not what I meant. Do you know what I'm saying? Can you frame
Like,
this?
thank you,
I am
Tony.
not
What's
understanding.
the percentage chance that the official story is correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, that's not fair because I don't think they released the full story ever. So,
I agree with Jakey. I think the official story is always 100%
I think I might,
wrong.
I might be a
because-
minority here, but I don't see any reason to doubt the official story.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll come. So it's 100% true in your eyes.
I don't see that's. I didn't say it was 100% true.
No,
I'm saying
I
I
think-
haven't seen a reason to reasonably doubt it.
I think there's black ops and redacted things in the military for a reason, and it's because they want to hide stuff from the public. So
Why would a terrorist attack need to be?
So
hidden
by
though?
that, in that context, nothing
I
given
don't-
out
that's
from
not true.
media
That's not true.
is ever 100% true.
Just because
So-
fear,
that's-
immense global terror. Like that's.
Well, we
if a
literally we're
terrorist
still
attack-
fighting a war on terror because of it.
But the terrorist, I mean, that's a different. my stance on that might be a little bit different, but like withholding information about a terrorist attack would only help
The
make it
terrorist.
not terror. Like the whole point of them doing it is to incite terror.
Okay, we'll unpack this a little more. I'm going to say there's 0% chance that that's the official
I
narrative.
can't answer that. I
on
can't
record,
answer.
this is us disagreeing.
Yeah.
I can't answer these questions. Like I
But
think
I
that they didn't
agree.
give us the full
That's-
story,
Well,
but
hang on,
I
we'll
think
talk- we'll
what
talk
they
about it. We'll
I
talk
think
about
what they
it.
gave us was
We're gonna-
70% true.
We're going to break 9/11 down by section, so we're going to talk about that. What's your percentage, though?
Based on the official story, whether the official story together is true.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
gonna
the
say-
percentage that it's true?
I'm going to say 0%, but I think that as far as the story goes,
It's a pretty good one.
I would say that 70% of it is actually true.
So the 70% of what we're told is factually
Yeah,
accurate.
because like they stated before, they're not going to release every single detail because the whole point of that attack was to incite terror. If they released everything that involved in the background, it would incite terror, and the terrorists would
And
go after
everybody
that.
would go buy
Tony, what's your-
toilet paper out of all the stores. And I'll have freaking 3 rolls.
Yep.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Right.
I got 5. You want one?
Yes.
Okay, so
got
okay.
5
Now
on
let's talk 9/11 here for a few minutes because this is kind of this is the founding thing in our generation until coronavirus, right?
Jet
So,
fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Man,
Where
you
did-
just
where
told
did
that.
the titanium-
You literally just told that, and you have no knowledge of that.
I don't know shit about that.
That's what I'm saying.
what were
Everyone's
you
just
saying,
like,
Mike?
I say, where did the titanium turbines out of the airliners go?
I don't even know.
Vaporized.
They can't.
Only mathematically they can't. They're gone.
And scientifically,
I don't know
Just
shit
because
about
they're gone
planes.
does not mean what they said was untrue. You can't say they're both.
Well,
both
now
wrong.
hang on. Well, why wouldn't they just recover the turbines though?
Look, all I'm saying is that I'm not saying they didn't hide them or withhold that information, but that doesn't mean the story is untrue just because of withholding information.
Okay, well, I mean,
yeah,
this
you
is one
got
point.
a point.
Those turbines are sitting in a private collection of some billionaire's mansion.
It could be for all we know.
Yeah.
But why would that need to be hidden?
Because maybe somebody did steal them, and that would have just caused further panic. I don't know.
You don't know
How big is
how
it?
I don't know.
you don't know how sick some people can
How
be.
big is
That's
it,
fair.
Ryan?
Have you ever been on
As
an
big as a
airplane?
car. It was like a pickup truck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're big, dude.
Yeah, you could. There, I know some of them.
They can't be
You
destroyed,
could easily walk
bended,
through them
mended.
if it were
They can
if it
be
were not for the
bent.
turbine there.
But they're titanium.
Or
I mean, they're gonna be-
ripped through or like cut in half.
Well, no, because what makes titanium so strong is its tensile strength, so it's able to flex and then come back.
Yeah, it's flexible,
So
but it
it's
doesn't
not
break.
really that it would just break. Steel would shatter.
Okay.
Titanium would.
I'm just saying, like, there's possible that
there were 3 separate
could've
sites
just-
of planes crashing. So that's let's assume there's 2 turbines per plane,
Yep.
right?
Well,
So
2
that-
in Manhattan. Two,
right. So,
two
so
planes.
there's 4 turbines
Right.
in Manhattan, right? There's 2 at the
At
Pentagon,
least,
and there's
'cause
and
it
there's-
depends on the- I
Sometimes
don't know
there's
about the
4.
Both of them
Yeah.
were 2-engine planes.
But
Okay,
we're
then
still working on
What is
a
this?
logical fallacy here. You're saying that everything they say must be untrue.
No. We're just
Because we don't know that.
addressing the turbines. So if there's 4 airplanes, that's 8 turbines.
Okay.
Okay. We didn't even recover 1 turbine.
Well, hold on
Right.
a
So
second.
that's a valid.
That's
like,
correct.
Is there
To our knowledge,
Is
to
there
the
a- sure.
public knowledge, we don't know.
But
is there a
if they
protocol to
just
collect
say-
turbines?
Well, I mean, they clean up. They clean up the
Sure,
the
they,
debris.
they put it all into a dumpster and take it away.
No, they took it to like a giant warehouse and put the plane back together.
Yeah, that
to
happened.
figure out
Oh, that
what
did
It's,
happen.
it's
Okay.
called an investigation.
So
Yeah.
now, okay. What about building 7? So let's assume that the airplanes could have brought down the
Is
Twin
that the
Towers.
or what's building 7? Is
Building
that
7
building-
is just a 3rd
next door
building in New
building.
York that just fell down.
It was
next
not
door
hit.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
It was the 3rd building to ever fall, with the official cause being fire damage.
And the other 2 were the first 2 towers.
Yes.
So only 3 still buildings have ever burnt down.
It was literally collateral
So
damage.
here's where my 70% comes in. Is that let me explain this without interruption, please. Is that
Holy shit!
I don't know why
says
you need
the
to preface
guy that freaking interrupts everybody.
I truly believe that the planes.
Does anybody else want to just interrupt him the whole time?
Yes.
You got covered, bro.
I truly believe that the planes hit the towers. I believe it caused structural damage.
Yep.
And if we're talking about a conspiracy, ask about this that could have happened is that the buildings were going to fall, but they were going to fall sideways into New York. And then to be able to control the destruction of the towers without compromising the rest of New York was that they were going to do a controlled demolition and sink them.
Okay, now, but
So that's what they did not say that happened.
They didn't say that, but you understand the prep work that's required for that. You don't just like go say, "Hey, we're going to bring this down controlled." Like you have to literally, like these are steel pillars holding. You have to put explosives on every floor, every join.
Emergency response bomb squad, bro.
Well, I don't think you have to do
they also-
everyone.
No, yes, you do. You can't just. Yeah, I mean,
If you take out the foundation, it comes down.
Almost everyone.
If you take out
everyone.
enough of the foundation, it comes down.
Yeah, but it'll come down, but you don't know how
Vertically?
and they also have to
That's why
explode
they-
at the same or at the correct
In
time.
sequence, yeah. And there were bursts coming down. They said it was air pressure from the building above it collapsing, but there were bursts.
What I'm saying is you
Down
couldn't
below.
just ad hoc perform that. You couldn't be like, well, we're just going to go
Sure, I
emergency
don't know
demo
much about
this.
controlled
I agree.
demolitions, but that's where
I agree
that's where
with
my doubt comes from.
I agree with Tim. That kind of demolitions control takes a lot more setup than what
It's
they
a
would
whole
have.
science.
Yeah, from the hit of the building,
Than
from
what they
it
would have
falling
had.
down.
Have you seen the way they control
not
how a
enough
tree
power.
gets cut and falls?
Yeah.
That takes setup. If
Yeah.
they have to do that with a fucking tree, they're definitely going to have to take time with a
I
building
think if there
that
was,
size.
on Jake's defense, I think if there was anybody that could do it, it'd be the government.
yeah.
If-
But why wouldn't they just say, hey, you know, these things were going to come down and we decided to do it
Because
with
it's inhumane, because people are up there.
still up above?
because
That's fair.
there are people up there.
I can't say for sure that didn't happen, but I feel like I hope the government didn't make that call. Like, we're just going to jettison these people.
See, that's a reasonable conspiracy theory right there. Like that's like
I
legit.
think that
you know?
I think that the government has made that call more than once in our
sure.
lifetime.
Sure.
That's true,
I'm not
yeah.
comfortable with it
Yeah,
at all.
The price of a few does not outweigh.
See, I'm
price
of
of
the
many.
mind of
The needs of the
this
many
is
outweigh
my
the needs
whole
of the few.
political belief that people are priceless, no matter how many.
Right. So to sacrifice, you know, even if there's
That's a wrong
40
thing to
people,
do.
But the
there.
government does not
Okay.
think that way.
That's fair. Now, getting back to Building 7. So Tony's showing us a map how far away 7 is. Okay, no plane hit 7.
Can we go to the?
What is-
there was another map that had like a 3D visual, and it wasn't an over the top.
Yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
had one up.
This
It was
one here?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So no other building around that area collapsed.
Yeah, the building between 7 and which one is that there?
I think it was it
Did
3?
something fall into it? Did
Well,
the
they
tower
said
fall
that the
into it?
official narrative is that debris fell on it, caused fires, and it collapsed.
Debris.
Okay, so
Yeah, building 6 and 3, which are between
So let
building
me
1 and
ask you-
7 are the close to, but building 6 and 3 did not fall. Building
So-
7 did.
you think the government had something to hide?
No, and I'm not saying this was an inside job. I'm saying what
you
we're
are.
told.
Yes, you
Debris didn't fall on that building and cause it to collapse.
I don't see how you can say that reasonably right now.
What do you mean?
If the North Tower were to just simply fall over, it would take that building.
That's not what happened.
No, I agree that's not what happened. But
It
you
came down in
cannot
on itself.
reasonably say that no debris fell on that.
No, I'm not saying debris didn't fall on it. I'm saying debris didn't cause it to collapse.
You can't reasonably say that.
Why didn't any other building in that area collapse? Why didn't 6 collapse?
We don't know.
I don't know
But
enough
I mean, you
about
can't
buildings.
You can ask
Yeah,
questions
we don't
like that.
know.
No, hold on. Like, it's perfectly reasonable to ask questions like that.
Sure.
But to say without a doubt it could not have is almost arrogance. Like, you don't know.
Well, okay. Now, my arrogance aside, there are literally thousands of architects and engineers that say it's not possible.
Can you pull up all those
There's
thousands
also
right now?
thousands of doctors that say shit that's not actually true either.
Well,
Just
sure.
because you're an architect doesn't mean
No,
you're
that's
actually
totally
a
fair.
human.
That's totally fair. It's just,
Yeah, there are a lot of doctors that misdiagnose cancer.
well, sure. But I mean, this another conversation is
the
when we
the
appeal
architect
to
of Building 7
authority.
could have cut corners.
You know, like when should we appeal to authority, and is it only when it meets our bias? You know what I mean? So that's a whole other conversation.
Confirmation bias.
But I'm just
saying, I don't see how you can reasonably
you
say
think,
that no debris.
Mike?
no,
could have
I'm not.
caused
I
it.
never once said no debris fell on it.
No,
I don't know. Let's
that's not
come
what I
back to
said.
me when we're
Only
talking
no
about the
debris
Pentagon.
could have
Only
caused that.
3 buildings have ever collapsed due to fire. Steel
Okay.
buildings, and it's those 3 right there in history.
Okay, so but you're saying it's untrue.
No. I'm just saying it's highly suspect.
It's uncanny.
Okay, well, I mean,
Right.
asking the question, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Sure.
But that's where I was saying I don't understand how there's enough proof to question what the narrative is. What the story was.
Okay, so now there is this that apparently that well, these times are gonna be wrong. We're gonna say that building collapsed at 4:00 on 9/11. Okay, the BBC reported at like 3:50 that building had collapsed. Wow, and the video is wild because they're reporting Building 7
Yeah.
collapsed, and it's in the background of the shot. It's just
Yeah, I think I pulled up a screenshot of that being the case. I accidentally clicked on it. Oh, I don't see it now. But yeah, they did report on it falling before it fell,
prior to it,
which is weird.
I mean, that is weird.
I mean, but they
We need to talk about Sandy
least.
Hook too.
They could have reasonably known that it was going to fall based on observations of what's going on, and then they could have just been reporting on
They
it.
reported it has
Or
fallen.
they could have been reported that the building was going to fall, and
no,
so
they reported that it had collapsed.
What I'm saying is that they could have gotten a
been
report
misinformation,
saying that the building was going to fall or collapse, and then they, phone conversations where
That's fair.
Okay, things get
Yeah,
missed in
it's far
translation.
from proof, but it's
No,
weird.
okay,
Yeah,
but let's
yeah,
just keep
that's
track of how
Sure,
many
it's
of the
weird.
benefit of the
Suspect.
This is
doubt
why
we're
can
getting.
we? So let me ask.
All right, brother. Thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah.
Mike has some shit about to say to the Pentagon. Yes.
You let me know. You let me know.
Yeah, let me get one thing out, and then we'll go right to the Pentagon. Let me ask you why.
Later, nerd.
What is going to change in your life if this is untrue and it comes out that they lied to you?
Well, I mean,
Validation.
I mean, I don't see a reason to care.
hang on.
Really?
No, hang on. What if we're allowed to then walk back some of the some of the measures that we put in place, like the Patriot Act, if we find out it was all a lie?
Well, that's gone now, right?
No. Trump
No.
renewed it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's
I thought
still
it was
going,
done
I'm
with
pretty sure.
Obama.
No, Obama renewed it too.
Yeah, he did.
No.
And then
I'm not-
Obama put in the NDAA. That's another thing. I'm just saying, it's important to question these things and get legitimate answers, not just, well, it's, we can. A lot of people died, and we lost a lot more.
Yeah, but
since then,
9/11 conspiracies are almost akin to Bigfoot at this point. There's so many, and there's
I don't
so
think
much
that's
stuff.
fair. I think that's
that,
an unfair.
it's not gonna ever come out what the truth is, and when it does finally come out, nobody's gonna believe it anyways.
I think that's the
That's
biggest
probably
problem.
true, yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem. People are not. People say conspiracy theorists are not open-minded, but
I would say the most.
What's that?
I would say the most.
Most, well, I mean, listen, I've heard some pretty crazy stuff, and
Yeah.
in regards to 9/11,
Well, some are, not all.
in regards to 9/11, I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure that the 9/11 Commission was not forthright. They never even had Cheney and Bush testify or give depositions on the record
Because I think Bush wasn't even involved for a
So-
good long while.
with the commission.
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm not saying that George Bush ordered this attack. I don't know what happened. There's a lot of inconsistencies.
I
that
think it's
need to be
reasonable
addressed.
to be able to question it, but
Yeah.
at this point, my perspective is just that it doesn't matter. At this
Well, I mean, that's fair. I disagree that it doesn't matter, but I mean, that's a fair point. Your day-to-day life isn't going to change.
No, I'm not
necessarily.
saying my day-to-day life. That's not my point. My point is that even if the truth comes out, nobody's going to believe it anyways. Nothing will change from it.
Well, I mean, and that's not. I'm not saying you're wrong in that, but I think that in itself is wrong. That people are just going to slough it off and be like, "Oh, I don't care," because at the end of the day, 3,000 people died.
So, I mean, I don't think this is the first nor the last time that the government has said something different than what actually happened. And most of the time, they do it for the benefit of
I
society.
disagree with that. I think that these things are power grabs, and I don't think that that's.
I find that really hard to believe.
Here's the
Even if they didn't do it, they seized on the opportunity
Bye-bye.
to
Have a
increase
wonderful
government
time.
power.
here's
You
the
know what I
update
mean?
on the Patriot
I don't
Act.
see that.
In 2000
Just look up the Patriot Act.
In 2015,
I don't agree with that. I think the Patriot Act was a genuine attempt at helping society.
I don't.
I thought
We disagree on that.
even
Nobody was sitting in a room saying, "Let's see how much we can pull away from people."
How do you know that? I mean,
Because
you
that's not reasonable. People don't think that way.
that's
doesn't
they literally do.
I don't think it's how much they can pull away from people. It's how much can we get.
That is how people think.
Yeah, how much can we get away with?
Not how many rights can we pull away from somebody.
But that's what that's
So
the
what do they
currency,
have
right?
to,
That's
what do
what
they
it
have to
ended up
gain
being.
by doing that?
a lot of information.
I don't see what the Bush family would have.
I'm not saying the Bush. That's what I'm saying. I'm not assigning blame to anybody.
Check out the Silverstein family.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
It's not like they're going to get more money from the Patriot Act.
Larry Silver. Well, that's nothing to do with the Patriot Act, but that's
You believe
the.
in
Oh, the guy that
Illuminati.
owned the building.
Yeah, he
And
owned-
he had the
He took out insurance on it a couple days
on like
before.
the 8th.
Oh
or
yeah,
the 10th or
Yeah.
something.
I read something about that.
That I would believe.
Right.
It's something along those lines because it's clearly there's
But how
clearly
would he
something
have
to be gained.
foreknowledge?
I mean, I'm
If
not
it's a
saying he
totally
did.
random event.
You know,
Here's the update on the Patriot Act: is that in 2015, parts of the Patriot Act expired, but with the passing of the USA Freedom Act, made by Obama, those parts were restored, except for one section
The USA
in
Freedom
which the
Act.
NSA was continuously collecting a mass phone data program. Instead of allowing the NSA to be able to collect that data, phone companies were required to retain the data, in which the NSA can obtain via the permission of a federal court. So they just introduced a middleman from the phone data
I
information.
think that's better.
That is a step in the right
it's
direction.
better.
What about the draconian name of
And then
the
for,
USA Freedom Act,
as of yeah,
or maybe it's Malthusian?
as of now,
Don't say words like that.
in 2019, the renewal of the Patriot Act, included in the stopgap legislation, the expired provisions required renewal by March 15th. However, the provisions were given a 77-day extension by Congress
It's
in
a
March.
strange number.
In this month, in
It is
March.
very.
We're going to give that 77 more days. Wait, what?
So,
I can imagine. Like
I would
somebody's
assume
like,
because of Corona.
77 days.
That's kind of how government works, man. They're like,
I don't know,
you
man.
can
I've
only
seen
have
some
10
stuff.
people in your house. What? Why not 11?
Do you see those memes
Why not
where it's
nine?
like you cannot go over social gatherings of 6 or of 5, family gatherings of 6, or family households of 6? They're yeeting someone out the window.
Okay, so what? Somebody want to say something about the Pentagon?
Now, I've seen more stuff on the Pentagon, and the main thing that I see that makes me question it is just the size of the hole that is in the Pentagon does not line up with the size of an airliner.
Does it
You
line
think
up
they
with the
dropped
size
the
of a
bomb?
missile?
Yeah.
Where's the video?
That's what surprises me.
You see, I don't entirely believe the videos.
there is
but
no video.
There's
There's an explosion.
yes.
There's
well,
one video.
There is one video.
It's like one frame a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. In
It's nothing and then
there's
a
a
puff of
there's a
explosion.
documentary called Spare Change that I've
Loose
watched.
change.
Is it Loose Change?
Loose change. Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar.
Yeah. Where they do
You're a
show
nut
like
job.
the missile coming in. I don't entirely like trust that video.
Sure.
But just you're looking at the Pentagon from the side that was hit and like where the wings would collide to the building or the size of just like the nose of it does not line up
I
with
trust-
the hole in the Pentagon.
I trust my eyes, and then so if they just showed me a video of a plane, like it's the most surveilled building on the planet.
One of them, yes.
You could assume that there would be a video.
Yeah.
They also confiscated like gas station,
Yeah, from
Cam-
nearby gas stations.
and none of that's ever been
security.
released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and why?
Cameras
You know, like-
and hard drives, everything. Or I don't remember what they were using at the time, tapes or hard drives, but yeah.
Probably to save from terror. I could see that being like maybe we did have next to a nuclear bomb dropped on us, and they didn't want everybody to know about that.
I mean that.
Can you imagine the terror
I
that would
hadn't
have came
thought
through?
of that.
Yeah, but there was a lot of that's fair. But to be said, there was a lot of terror that did happen because there was all the
We had a
information.
terror
that,
alert
all
every
the
day. You'd wake up,
all
"Oh,
the
we're at
information
Green
was is
today."
that this was the biggest
and
terrorist.
I realize that, but imagine if we had a nuclear bomb dropped on us.
I remember schools.
That's fair.
I remember schools for the next
It'd be anarchy.
month. I remember schools being like sometimes schools just called off because of fear alone.
Tecumseh schools did not call off. I'll tell you that.
We didn't even know. I was in fifth grade.
I was
when
in
it happened.
drag
We
race.
didn't even know.
I think that's a disservice to you.
I
They
remember
put us in a room to watch it. We watch it all day long.
we
I did
watched
too.
it for 2 hours and then
I didn't find out about it until I got home. My mom sat my brother
that's a
and
disservice,
myself down on the couch, and she's like, "Boys, I don't
Maybe
know
fifth
how to
grade.
tell you this. I don't know if you guys will even understand it."
How old are you?
But I was in the fifth grade. Was that
That's
9,
different.
10?
Yeah, that's a little different.
It's a little different. I was in 8th grade.
No, you would have been in 7th because I was in 8th.
Okay, I was in 7th grade. So
Yeah, I was in 8th grade.
you were in high school, so
Yep.
it's a little different, I
Yeah.
guess, that we were a little older minds. Well, I remember it was my first class. I was in orchestra, and
What a
I was a nerd.
man.
And
I was in drafting.
so for the next
Remember that.
Hell yeah.
for the next 3 hours or so until and basically until lunch, the whole first half of the day was just sitting in your first period class.
It was communications. I remember that.
Yeah, and then so that's what happened. I just
We had a morning announcements and it was on there, and then like probably 2 hours went by, we didn't know what to do, and they just sent us home.
I took a
we watched
science
TV
test.
all day. We watched TV until lunch, and then I can't remember if they sent us home or we had the rest of the classes.
I took a science test, and the guy in front of me told me that a biplane, like a two-seater plane, hit the and said he hit the and then I was like, okay, and then we went and watched for several hours. So
We never did talk about this executive order. What are
we never did.
talking about all this freaking dumb conspiracy theories?
Power grab, man. Well, I mean, this lines right up, right? So, like, if 9/11 were a fabricated event, and they used it to seize constitutional rights, and then now they do the same thing.
Well,
with
you can't say
coronavirus.
that the entirety of it was fabricated.
No, I was saying if. Yeah, I don't know.
That I would say outright, if something like this was completely fabricated, that is evil.
Corona or 9/11.
Yes.
Either or. And it's very hard for me to think that even people that I very much disrespect are actually evil.
So
with intent.
do you not think that there are evil people in the world?
It's very hard for me. I think there's evil actions with the best intentions.
I don't know. I think
Even Hitler had the best intentions in mind. He
Yeah, for
wanted
his
a better
people.
world.
For his people.
The
Yeah,
thing-
and I'm not saying
the thing
he
what you
was,
said
what
before
he did
was-
wasn't
I gotcha.
evil.
the road to hell is paved in good
Yeah.
intentions.
I just don't think that people just in general are like, how can I fuck this up as much as possible?
I am on the other side. I do think that there are straight evil people.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of in the middle on that. Like, I'll go with a lot of conspiracy theories, but usually I don't think it's somebody planned it out. I think it's somebody not letting a crisis go to waste.
Oh, good old.
I can see that.
Good
Yeah.
Rahm Emanuel.
I can
Right. Yeah.
definitely see that. Where it's like, this is the situation now. What do I do? And I made the wrong choice.
Right. Like somebody,
Yeah.
like, I mean, maybe somebody made this coronavirus thing and it just got out, but
And somebody's
Or even
gonna
if it's
seize on
natural,
it.
even if it's
It
natural,
could even be natural.
Even if it's natural, how do we seize this crisis for the
now I don't
benefit
think.
of?
Yeah, I don't think too many people have benefited from this one. The
besides-
9/11 one, yes, but
Well, this isn't
and
over
also
yet.
yet.
I will tell
Right,
you,
yeah.
I would
over
say
yet.
Charmin is killing it right now.
Charmin,
Yeah.
Purell, Clorox.
Well, I think stores overall
Lysol.
are doing very well. I think
Yeah.
like grocery
retail.
stores.
Yep.
I think they're
Not-
We can't say all retail.
So are you
but-
saying,
Acropolis.
are you saying
True.
Are you saying that like grocery store-
GameStop. I don't think GameStop's going to recover.
Are you saying
No,
that
I think they'll be done.
I think this
will
is
kill
going to be
GameStop.
the nail in the coffin.
Are you-
I've been
well,
surprised it was open for a long time.
Even Xbox and PlayStation were all like, we're going to give away more free games,
Yep.
or put games more on sale. Like it, digital
That
gaming.
is a big fuck you to GameStop that like literally carried those for a long time.
Actually, GameStop is not like
If it wasn't
a good
GameStop, it would.
company.
No, that's fair.
If it wasn't GameStop, it would have been any other game
They make
store.
a lot of questionable choices.
Oh yeah, I mean we got a buddy that worked there for a long
I
time.
wouldn't
that-
say
he
GameStop.
worked there.
Yeah, I worked there.
so. We still have one friend that worked at GameStop.
So
Ferris works there.
Ferris is currently working there. I bought my Switch from him.
so if it wasn't GameStop doing the sales,
That's for
like
you,
there
bro.
was so many stores that sold games.
Yep.
And
I
GameStop
gotcha.
just became like the powerhouse of it because
For like just a hot minute, in the grand scheme of things, they haven't been.
they
like a
they
huge
capitalized
power
on
that
selling
long.
used games before other people did, and that was their big stick.
Best Buy still does it too.
Disc traders.
Yeah, but they're not focused, so people don't know that, right?
Yeah, but like,
because they're entertainment focused, not game focused.
I just don't think.
It's like a cultural thing.
I really don't think GameStop's going to recover from.
I don't think so.
Well, they've been down on the
They've
down
been
and outs.
floundering for
A
2
while.
or 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
a
because
lot longer than that, I think. But yeah,
Well, it was the.
It's been public, like very public, that they've been struggling for.
yeah.
They tried to sell themselves and then
All those
released
memes.
like they've
Couple
been in
times.
the negative.
Released their books, and the buyers were like,
Yeah,
all those
What they
memes
think
like
was
we're trying to
gonna
sell. Yeah, we'll buy it for $250 or something like
Yeah, like,
that.
we want $4 billion. They're like, we'll give you $1 million
We'll give you
for all the
How about
stores.
100,000.
350?
who owns them
Tree
now? Or somebody?
I don't think anybody bought them.
No,
Oh,
There was one scare
They were bought
that
by
I'm
EB
glad never
Games
happened.
They
in
were- they were-
05.
Was that they were
Uh,
talking about, and they were in communications with Hasbro about
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering, and I'm glad that fell through.
Yeah.
Hasbro's been trying to fuck everybody, dude. It might kill Paper Magic too, but
Hasbro's the shit, man. I love Hasbro.
Well, yes, Hasbro like content, but Hasbro taking over Magic.
I'm not a fan of
What do you think
Hasbro.
makes the Transformers?
I guarantee you don't
Yep,
like
there you go.
Hasbro as a company, though. You
I
might
like 'em
You
well
might like the IP. Hasbro is a shitty.
I'm not
company.
a fan of Hasbro.
I love Hasbro.
Frankly, there
Pro
are many
Hasbro.
better American companies than Hasbro.
Dude, I gotta put you on this.
Shut up, Tim.
Put you on this guy that does Trump
so
and Obama
funny.
impressions. It's so funny. They'll have a
Obama.
conversation.
Obama.
Obama.
So
I
funny.
can't do Trump. Like I can do our friends, but I can't do
Right.
celebrities.
Do Brad.
I'm not doing Brad.
You need video to get the full. All right, guys, listen. I don't know.
We love
what,
Brad.
It's really the.
We love Brad.
I don't know what this show is, but
we need to record
Conspiracies.
an intro.
All right, we love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Whatever.